is to obviously bring it right back to where we are right now. You know, corporate media is going to do anything and everything in their power because there are a lot of very rich and powerful people that want the island of Cuba back in their hands for business interests. And so right now they're trying to use the anti-communist narrative. And don't get me wrong, I don't support communism, but if you're looking at why this is happening in Cuba right now, it's happening for two reasons: the embargo and the sanctions. You want to have a conversation about communism? We can have that after you lift the sanctions and end the embargo. But corporate media is going to go all in to basically say this is an anti-communist movement within Cuba, and that's why this is happening. And why would they do that? Because they have vested interests on that island, and that's it. I wish and I hope more people could start to see that. But as you have so keenly put, that's why they're so powerful, is because corporate media is a mouthpiece for them. And that is what they're doing right now. I just hope that the more we spread this message, the more people become aware. Once you become aware, then you're like, oh, yeah, I know what they're doing. I see what they're doing. It's BS. It's not what they're actually fighting for. It's that they have a vested interest, and this is what they're telling you is what they're fighting for. But if you actually read between the lines, you would see that it's more than what corporate media is telling you.
I couldn't agree more. Look, if you're really anti-communist, history will tell you that one of the best ways to get rid of communism is to let communism run its course, right? I mean, in many ways, like the totalitarian aspects of communism will eat itself, right? You know, like they'll say like, oh, the left eats its young. Well, the capital L left definitely does. I mean, not because there's not merits in like aspects of Marxist theory, but because when put in place, any like highly dogmatic ideology tends to destroy itself in an authoritarian way. In fact, one of the best ways to empower the hardliners, whether they're communists or Islamists or in the Islamic Republic of Iran, is to blockade their people, starve their children, and bomb their folks, because then people rally around the flag. So if you really want the Ayatollahs in Iran to get a little more right wing, let's do a little more max pressure Trumpism, right? And I mean, the Democrats have done it too, but he was the worst. It's so counterproductive unless you're profiting from it. Right. And like I said, you know, I mean, I think I have to say this. I don't want to be the veteran guy. I don't want to be the storyteller, personalized, emotional guy. But the American soldiers who we adulate to the point of almost fetishization, right? It's gone too far, if anything. That's probably a whole other conversation, maybe for another appearance, like we talk about. But if you love the American soldiers, remember, if we invade Cuba or Venezuela or all the different wars around the world that we've been engaged in, they're going to get killed, and they're going to kill people and come back with the trauma and the moral injury and maybe not all of their legs. One of my soldiers, Kyle Hockenberry, has only one of his limbs, right? And he's alive. They do that for like $30,000 to $50,000 a year, depending on how senior they are. And the real money is in the people who create the weapons, sell them, lobby Congress. It's a big pyramid scheme. It's a system that they're all in, and they lobby for more of it, and they don't get questioned. And so my last point on this is this. What's required, I think, and my second book was about this, Patriotic Dissent, is to reframe what patriotism is. Take the narrative from the Hawks. Like, listen, like, look, there are other veterans like me. It's not just me. There are lots of us, actually. The thing is, patriotism is not just being pro whatever your country is doing. True patriotism is questioning it and hoping that we get to the aspirational republic we want to be. And if we see the narrative that patriotism is militarism, that patriotism is camouflage and it is bombs, if we let them have that, then we're always going to be on the defensive in the Democratic Party, worried about looking weak. We're going to have a bunch of Harry Trumans, and we have to get away from that. The true patriotism is not militarism. They are not the same, and we need to just totally uncouple them. And I've been yelling about this, and maybe I will go I'm dead.
No, but one of the things you said, and this was in the very beginning, and I know it wasn't your quote, but dissent is not disloyalty. And I think that is a really huge thing for people to understand. I've always felt that, I've always been dissenting. I think I've just always been in dissension. But yeah, and I've always thought, why could someone else tell me I'm not patriotic just because of, like, why does someone else get to own that narrative? And I've always thought that that's a bunch of crap. So I'm glad that you said that. But
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.